one, that we exist. I think that's I think that's the number one thing. One, that we exist, and two, the different resources that people have in their life experiences to get to being a Black CFP.
What give me a little more background on like YouTube. So you obviously
Mhm.
way more successful on YouTube. We are not as much. Why the YouTube route? Talk me through that journey of like going from zero to where you're at.
Okay, so YouTube was funny. So
It is.
ultimately, yeah, what ended up happening was I sat on the idea of starting a YouTube channel for like 2 to 3 years, right? I saw a lot of attorneys on YouTube that I subscribed to that would see something either in pop culture or whatever about the law, where it's like, man, people are getting that completely wrong. Like, that's not how it works, right? That's not how these things work. That's not how the court process works. That's not how the law works. And I loved it. And I was like, you know what? There's no one doing that in finance, because there's a lot of people online who talk like they know how money works, how investments work, and stuff like that. And they get it just wrong. Like, just some stuff is just like criminal level wrong. And then, but I didn't know how to do it, like what type of avenue I would go down. So ultimately, what I saw was a client would send me something, and I would look at it, and I'd be like, "No, you can't do this." Like, sometimes this stuff would be criminal stuff, right? And I'd
Right.
be like, "No, you can't do this." And I was like, okay, there's an avenue of how I can present this information online. I can kind of react to the nonsense that's online, that people like. If you read in the comments, people are like, "Oh, he's dropping gems," and I'm sitting there like, "That's bank fraud.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
not a gem. That's bank fraud." And
Right.
I was like, this might be something that people might like to see. So I just kind of started like that. So, but ultimately, really, my channel probably wouldn't be as big as it is if it wasn't for the collaborations that I did. So early on, I would find other channels and I would be in the chat room, and I would, make comments in the chat room. I would super chat the host so that they would see what the hell I'm saying, and then the chat room would see it, because when you super chat, it stays up longer and people see it and it gets highlighted. And I would do that in a bunch of different channels. And ultimately, what happened was I did it on a live stream that O'Shea Duke Jackson was doing. So O'Shea Duke Jackson is an OG when it comes to like the Black manosphere, content creators that speak mainly to a Black male audience. And he didn't even know what the hell my channel was about. He had no idea what my channel was about. He just looked down and he said, "Pocket watching with JT. That's funny." It was the
Yeah.
name that got him. He said, "Man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check you out. Like, I'm gonna have to check your page out. That's funny. I like the name of your channel." And at that time, I was just edging to 1,000 subs, just like barely to the point where I was at 1,000 subs. And after very little back and forth, like 1 or 2 emails, and then he set up an interview. But at that time, he was doing interviews. He was interviewing smaller YouTube channels, Black men who were giving content that he felt like would help his audience. Another YouTuber that I met through him was the Lead Attorney. The Lead Attorney channel is like booming now. Lead Attorney's got almost 200,000 subs. But at
Right.
the time, he only had like 5 or 8, right? And I saw that he got interviewed by O'Shea. And then I reached out to him, and me and him kind of talked back and forth. But ultimately, O'Shea Duke Jackson, he interviewed me. And I had like 1,000 subs when he interviewed me that night, like when he aired it, because it was a tape, it wasn't live. He aired it. I started that day at 1,000. I ended that day around 4,000, like that.
Dang.
His audience trust him. If he
Right.
say, "Hey, I like this guy. Check this guy out," his audience trusts him. So I had like 4,000 that night, and then slowly it started to build, and then it got to the point where, and the Lead Attorney taught me this, you gotta find a way to make your dry content, because the law and finance is dry
Yeah,
by
trust.
itself. If you leave it by itself, it's dry. How can you find a pop culture spin to it to catch the eyeballs, to bring them in, but still feed them the sound financial or legal information that you wanted them to have in the first place? That's still something that I'm working on. It's not something that I've mastered just yet,
Right.
but I would say that's a huge thing. Those two things. I was able to collab with a YouTuber that was much bigger than me. O'Shea Duke Jackson's almost at like 300,000 subs. At the time, he was almost at 200,000 subs, and I was at 1,000. So that's multiples of multiples bigger than me.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
then finding ways to make my dry financial topic cool because I'm attaching it to some trending thing in the news or in pop culture or what we're seeing on Black Twitter. Those things, put those things together, that would be the key to my success.
That's what's up. I mean, that it takes work though, right? Let's not.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there that think creating content's easy, doing your job on
Mhm.
YouTube, all of that's easy. It's not.
Right.
It's work. It's a
Yeah,
grind.
I mean it is, but you got to find what you like to do.
Right. It's fun. It's
Yeah,
fun.
it's so uh, the reason why it's fun is because I love these topics, and I love to see people interested in money. I see you're interested in money, is you're just going about it the wrong way, right?
Right.
So that's kind of my approach with it. It's
Yeah.
great that you're interested in trying to improve your financial life, but there's a better route to go, and there's a lot of people within the space that are extremely like flashy in the way that they do it, and I'm like, well, it really doesn't take all that, so to me it's like all of these fake gurus, basically what they're doing somewhat of a service for me, because
Mm.
they're educating people, they're piquing the interest
Right.
of the culture to want to know more about investing and stuff like that. That's point one. They're piquing the interest. As long as their interest is piqued, now I can come in and try to give them information that's going to be more applicable to their situation. But the grind part of it is only the stuff that we don't do, like editing. I hate editing. I don't like doing pre-taped videos. I rarely ever do those anymore because I'm
Yeah.
super critical of myself. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I stumbled over that word. Let me start over. Let me re-record. Like live, I don't care. If it's live, I can't be so critical. The show gotta go on because
Yeah.
there's like 300 people watching me right now, and I can't say, oh, let me start over. There is no start over.
There is no.
So can't start over. So I forced myself to just do lives, and that's the only way I can pump. Because like I was talking to someone else, and they was like, "Man, you pump out a lot of content." I was like, "Not really. Like I do like maybe three. I do 3 shows a week, about an hour ish each, and they're a live stream. It would be a lot of content if I was doing 3 or 4 8-minute videos. Because to get a good 8-minute video, you're probably doing about 45 minutes to
Right.
an hour shooting. Then you
And
got
then edit.
another hour or so editing, and then the rendering, wait for it to render and upload. That's a lot of time. I press record, I talk, end.
Done.
And I don't even rewatch my stuff. That's the thing.
Yeah.
People be like, hey, remember when you said such and such and so and so? Nope.
Oh. No.
No, I don't remember. It was like 2
No.
weeks ago. Nope.
If I said it and you heard it, I said it.
Right.
Just listen, because yeah, right. I get that too. We get that a lot. Like we have our No BS Wealth podcast, but we also have our Goon Squad, which is our sports and sports betting podcast. And
That's dope. I like that.
a lot of people come at us on the sports side. And remember when last week on the show you said, I'm like, no,
No.
no, we record for 3 hours. I don't have time. Like, what am I going to remember?
Right.
Like so. No, that's funny. That's good though. I
Yeah.
like.
So man, I'm interested in that one because man, I'm a sports guy too, right? I love to talk about the trending topics in sports, mainly
Yeah.
football and basketball. Not a big
Right.
baseball guy. Never been a big baseball guy unless like playoffs and stuff like that. So how is that going?
It's going really well. It's fun. So
Uh-huh.
it originally decided around sports betting, right?
Okay.
And that's where we went with. We were
Which
talking
is
about sports
dope.
betting.
That's smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
That's a great tie-in to
Football,
finance. Yeah.
right. Football, sports betting was how it started. That was our
Uh-huh.
roots because I played collegiate ball. At that time, we had a couple others that played collegiate football,
Uh-huh.
and then now we have a collegiate wrestler. So it's been really dope. Now we're getting into a little more golf. I mean, it's off season for football, so you got to find something.
Something, yeah.
And with golf blown up, you got the Live Golf, PGA. You got a lot of things that are moving, and it has a lot to do with money. So it's been fun because we can go no holds bar. I don't have to worry about really compliance. I don't got to worry about anything. We can go all
Mm-hmm.
out. And we love to tie in the betting piece, and we tie betting back into finance, which leads into, coming back around.
Right.
But it hits off because we all love sports. Everybody loves sports.
Everybody.
Um,
Everybody. Yep.
and there's really good, interesting things that you could teach people through that sports conversation that we can't do, like you had talked about with our content being dry. You can't do that normally with some things where we can attach it, like we talked about. I think one of the bigger ones was Kobe's death. We've talked about Phil and his gambling habits, like all of those things that
Right.
we're talking about sports and athletes. But it's getting them some real good stuff. But it's really fun.
Nice.
We get guests on, we get athletes on, coaches,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. See,
everybody
that's
on to get on it.
I would love to do something like that, like down the road, because that's something that I can ramble on like forever. I love the arguments of sports. I love the debates of MJ or LeBron and stuff
Right.
like that. Like I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's your football team then?
Football team. See, I'm from St. Louis. Let me explain.
Okay.
I'm from St. Louis. But I don't like the LA Rams. I'm a
That's
St.
fair.
Louis. I'm a St. Louis. So when it comes to football, it's just individual players. Same thing with basketball. I don't have a basketball team. I
Yeah.
got players that I like. So it's
Right.
like when it comes to teams, the only team is like the Blues, St.
Right.
Louis Blues hockey, and Cardinals baseball. But
There
when
you
it
go.
comes to other sports, other major sports, because we don't have a franchise anymore, I just I find players that I like. If I seen them in college and stuff like that, I like that. But I don't have particular teams.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair though. That's
But
fair.
also I grew up in the fantasy league era too. And that
Yes.
gets you more on individual players than teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's how like my teams, I started individual and then developed into teams. So
Okay.
growing up in the 90s, right? Braves baseball. I mean, you got Andrew Jones, Chipper Jones. I mean, you got Glavine, you got just Smoltzy. You just
Mm,
got squads. Like I loved all those players. They still happen to be on the same team.
right.
But growing up in Omaha, we would get TBS, and all it would show was Braves. Like we didn't get Chicago,
Okay.
nothing. I got Braves, so that helped. And
Got you.
then just loving college football. I mean, I was a Florida State guy for a while just because the athletes they were pumping out.
Okay.
But growing up in all my like little league stuff and football, my colors were always red, either red
Mm-hmm.
and white, red and gold, or red and black. So in our high schools, red and black. Well, my freshman year high school, nope,
Mm-hmm.
sophomore year, we got the pants from the Falcons when Vic was there, and I love Vic prior to.
Right. Okay.
And
Okay.
so now I'm locked in. Right now, I'm a Falcons fan. Have been ever since then, through the struggles and shit. So that's how I'm a
Right.
Falcons fan. That's how I'm a Braves fan. And then I was a Heat fan in NBA for a while, but I love Wade. Wade's my boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
father
Yeah.
growing up was a Heat fan, so you had the old school with Penny and whatnot. But
Oh yeah, I'm about
um,
to say he was like shit. If
I,
your father was a Heat fan, he was there when they became a team.
correct. Yes, absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at with that.
Right.
With the teams that I like. So appreciate
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. That's what's up. Yeah. Ain't bad.
So
So no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just to say, so obviously with everything that we do, we're content creators. Yes, there's
Mhm,
that, but then we got our own businesses. So
mhm,
wrap around what your advisory practice does, what
mhm.
you look at to, and how you reach out to your demographic and what you're looking for in that space, and then I got some loaded questions within that.
Okay. I mean, for the most part, my practice started mainly tax based, right? So, right out of college, I became an enrolled agent, right? I was working for my father at the same time too. So, uh, a lot of my work was tax preparation, audit representation, and tax settlement stuff. It wasn't till 4 or 5 years into the game where then I set for the Series 65 with no, I've never been a part of any other organization. It's not like, okay, I wanted to work for Edward Jones or
Right.
some other bank. It's just that my clients, who mostly small business owners, they would be having tax issues that I would clean up, but their tax issues were only a symptom of their overall financial problems. Right? You get into a tax problem because your other ability to manage your money is an issue.
Right.
So while they would, they needed more help with that, and I was like, okay, well, what's going to give me the credibility and the knowledge base that I need to be able to help them over here, not just the tax side? Google. I just Googled it. Oh, okay. Investment advisor, Series 65. Where do I take the exam? What book do I buy? Just did it on my own. There was no investment company I was working for. Just did it. Boom, passed. Then I was like, man, I need more. How can I get more? CFP. All right, bet. Here we go. Oh, I got to go back to school for about 9 to 12 months. Pandemic hits. Okay, cool. Now I got the time to be online
Right.
for 9 to 12 months. Did the program online, graduated from the program, sit for, pass the CFP exam. So a lot of my clients are, tax representation, preparation. A lot of the stuff that I do mainly is more financial coaching, because all I do is charge billable hours, flat fee. I don't take custody of client assets. If they've got money in a 401k, I just explain to them, it's probably, you can keep it there. Now, if you
Right.
get closer to retirement, maybe we'll have a conversation about rolling something over into an IRA, but you're good for the most part. And then a lot of these clients, like I said, are self-employed. So they're not even working a W-2. So we talk about, maybe setting up a SEP IRA and stuff like that. But a lot of my stuff is just billable hours. I do more coaching than I do technical financial advising within the practice. And then when YouTube started jumping off, now I got people all over booking financial coaching consultations from all over the country from the YouTube channel.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's vitally important. And I think coming from where you came from and just creating it yourself, doesn't have all that other BS that you have to deal with.
Right.
And realizing that it's coach. I mean, we coach. That's what it is. People, chirp about this investments, like investment advisors doing all the investments and not being in the market and all that. That don't make cool. Right? Like
Right.
that's not what's going to help you. I don't care how much little or much money you have. The
Right.
returns from -5 to 30, really, that's going to do too much.
Right.
Because you're blowing your money on some new Jordans or new car. Like,
hey, yes, it's like they come and say, "What should I do with my money?" You probably need to pay down your debt. But I got $30,000 from life insurance. Yeah, and you're like $80,000 in debt. There's nothing that I can do, right? There's nothing I can do to help you invest this 30 that's
right,
outpacing the growth of the 80.
right.
Pay
Absolutely.
that off. Yeah,
Just pay it off. In those just little concepts like that I believe, I know our industry's moving towards. We're all moving towards coaching, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
We're launching a DIY type service that's a lot designed around basically coaching in August. Because our firm's a family office, so talked about like CPA stuff. We got CPAs, we do investment stuff, we got real estate. We do it all on the family office side, bill pay, whatnot. And I recognize that the normal financial planning, create a financial plan, give it to somebody, let it ride, or charge them $12,000 for a plan. That piece is dying in terms of the fact that I'm just going to give you something, let it ride. The coaching is what's real, and that's how A lot of people ask me, well, how many Black clients do you have? Why can't you reach more Black people? I said, well, because the industry isn't designed that way. It was never designed, and it's not just Black people. It is lower income, lower, I won't say intelligence, but lack of knowledge of what's going on.
Absolutely.
It's designed so drastically bad that this
Yeah.
coaching coming into play, DIY type stuff, that's where we can do our YouTube content. We can do,
Absolutely.
I'm going to be doing like a fireside chat where once or twice a month, people just come on live and we just chop it up, right? We just
Yeah.
chop it up about whatever topic you need to do or you want, so that they can get comfortable, like you said, and want to work with money and want to be worked with and helped and not scared. And so I love what you're doing on that side, and obviously the YouTube channel is legit. But I love that you hit upon I do coaching. That's what I do. The rest of it is just it.
And I'm so with you when it comes to that's where the smart money would plan their firm towards, because as technology keeps evolving and passive investing, when people get in their head, stop trying to bet on single stocks, right? And just deal with passive investing. They need just someone to help them understand how this stuff works and how to set up their accounts and stuff like that, and just be there. Like, if I got an issue, I call up my fraternity brother who's an attorney. Like, if it's something that I know is not a billable hour, I call him up real quick. What do you think? Boom, boom. Other than that, hey, all right, book me a billable hour. We need to sit down. People don't normally have that when it comes to finance. They're at the barbershop talking about, hey, yeah, man, how much they're just talking. And I feel like our industry needs to be in a space where you call up your financial advisor, right? And you don't feel like you're going to get hit with like a, $800 bill for a quick question, especially if they got you on retainer or they got a subscription type of deal. They can call you up or shoot you an email and say, hey, man, this is going on. They have that resource, but it's got to be accessible. And that's another reason why I saw like the Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman platform of how they were able to like kind of build a media company behind it. And I was like, you know what? No one's offering that in the urban space.
Nope.
And I was like, I think this is a space that I can get to. It took me a second to figure out the technology on my end on how to get the phone number and stuff. So I got that maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, where I figured out how to do the phone number. And then I was able to partner with a local radio station here in the St. Louis area. So on Mondays, I do it from the radio station, which makes it easier because I'm in the booth. The producers in the other booth behind the glass, they let me know when a caller comes up and they do all the technical stuff. I just get to sit there and talk and answer questions when people call up. And I've been shopping it around, man. And I got somebody, that in Hollywood working to see if it could develop into something bigger as somewhat of a show, but I'm thinking more radio with a camera than a real show. But you know how Hollywood is. It's like he's like I'm a try, but it may not be anything.
Yeah.
But they're working on it. And the only thing about me is I hate being in somebody else's time. Like, if I want to do something, I'll just put my money up and do it.
Right.
And I'm not waiting. But this is like the one of the very few times in my life where it's like, I can't force this to go any faster. I gotta sit and wait for other people to make decisions on my thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know any better. I don't know how that world works. So I gotta sit back and wait. But hopefully I'm crossing my fingers that that it pans out, because I think it could be something that is scalable. Because I mean, Dave Ramsey's on over 300 radio stations throughout the country with his YouTube channel and whatnot. There's a bunch of urban radio stations that need content. You're talking about 2 or 3 hours a day that you can slot this in and throw your commercials in. So that's taken up 45% of my work energy, is trying to make that part of the whole pocket watching brand thing come together. And I hate it because I love it and hate it. I love it because it's a great idea that somebody in Hollywood believes in because they think it's good. But I hate it because I I no longer have control to make it happen. I gotta sit and wait, and that's the part I can't. I'm not good at waiting. I'll just put the money up. It's like, how much to do a pilot?
Let's ride. Let's do it.
15,000. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it and see how it goes. Right. But it's like I can't do it.
Yeah. That's what's up. Though. Something that I ask everyone, specifically this, and that is, why do we not see as much collaboration between, we're talking about Black CFPs, but in general in our industry? Why don't we see a lot more collaborations? Why are we all trying to do in our own lane and really not reach out? Because I know you'll definitely get it from people reaching out, and I know I do, that they don't fit our niche, but collectively as an industry,
right,
you don't just get together and be like, hey, you know what? Stoy Nails Real Estate, everything I'm doing, I'm riding. Let's go. He'll take care of them. I'm good. I got my lane, right? I do small businesses, tax stuff. Like, why do you believe we don't see a stronger knit in that regard?
I think it comes from a mindset of there's not enough. Right? I never had that mindset of there's not enough for everybody, so I got to stay focused on me. But that's what I see, because they be like, man, there's only so much work out here, and if I collab too much, that dilutes my ability to go get it. But actually, what it does is now you become a subject matter expert in your niche, because I don't do everything. I remember when I started my practice, man, I would do anything a client asked.
Right.
If they were paying.
Right.
If they was paying, I would do it. It didn't matter what it was. And then early in the game, I was like, man, this is ridiculous. Like, the time that it takes me to have to learn how to do the thing that they want, I was like, I'm wasting hours, and I can't build them for these hours of me learning. I can only build them from the hours of me doing. And early on, I was like, nah. I'm gonna look at what makes me the most money, and I'm gonna do that. If a client asks me for something outside, then I'm gonna build a list of referrals and just refer them out. But when I've seen other people who are kind of tight with it, it comes from a sense of insecurity of, well, they may steal my client, or they may steal my ability to make money, because if they go over there, they're not going to come over here. But that's why you got to be strategic. It's like, I don't refer people to outsource things that I do. I only outsource stuff that I don't do to people who do the stuff that I don't. So there's not a conflict. So I think it just comes from a sense of insecurity. But that comes from a cultural thing too, of, there's only so much, right? There can only be one top Black person in a particular field at a time. You get one shot, right? Right now, Kevin Hart is the man when it comes to Black comedians. Can't be another one, but there's Dave Chappelle, there's other people. But that's the perception. The perception is there can only be one at a time. And if I take a chance of giving someone else a shot to do something, then I lose my turn. My time is up. But that's not the reality. The reality is there's enough work for everybody, but you got to be strategic. You got to understand what you do good and partner with other people. I mean, like your firm, I mean, obviously, you got all these different moving pieces. You got real estate. You got someone in there doing the CPA work, investment advisor stuff. It's not like each one of y'all stepping on each other's toes. You're working together as a team, and everybody eats. So I just think it comes from a sense of insecurity.
You could not have said it better. It really does. And I also think it's what kind of like we all did earlier in our career. We're trying to do everything, right? If someone brings and pays me, I'm going to do everything.
And I don't want them to go nowhere else. I'm the guy.
For nothing. I'm going to look up stuff in Europe. I don't care. Africa. I'm going to find something
right.
for you. And I'm going to spend 10, 20, 40, 100 hours to get this answer and realize that it's not worth it. Or you can't even do it.
Right. When you look at me like, damn, I spent all this time and I still got to refer them out to someone else.
Absolutely. But that's what you come back to our niche and who you are. Know who you are. It's taken us a while too. That's why we're kind of doing a relaunch. Obviously, updating our website, so it's a good timing. August with we are a hybrid family office that we're going to help you and we're going to coach you. And those aren't. it's not we're coaching you to become a family office client, because those are two different people.
Right.
What we're doing is we're helping you, because that's what we love to do. And then what we're really good at is allowing someone to be like, you know what? I just want to make money and live life. I need someone to take care of all my bill paying, help run the business, everything. That's what we do, right?
Gotcha. I mean, that's the bigger established family office client.
Yeah. But what we're doing is we're taking it from, if someone Google family office, they're going to say, oh, you have to have 25 million, you have to have all this money, net worth. We scale it down to even a regular business owner who maybe made clear 120K can do this service. Now, there's some tiered down stuff to it, but we know that there are people out there, specifically business owners, who know their own lane and are really not good at the rest of it.
Right. Yeah,
they
of course.
say, I need a team to just take care of the rest of it. That's what our hybrid family office is. Now, obviously, we can do the normal family office type stuff, but we want the family office that we all know in our industry to be not called family office anymore, but to be something that everyone can get a part of, because there are people out there that just don't want to do any of the stuff. They don't want to touch it. They want someone to take care of it. And that's what we're creating. We got to change
something more scalable at a level for middle class people can afford and access.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Even the wealthy people, the middle class, lower class, no one knows what a family office is. Only those ones that are worth so much that have their own family office.
They actually no one.
So like, it's cool, we can talk about it, but we have to come up with a different way to speak about it, because if I say family office, someone Googles it, they're gonna be like, oh,
that ain't me. Right, yeah.
That ain't us. But it's the things inside of it that everyone could have, and everyone would need that want that. If not,
and the thing is, that used to be the old school family accountant.
Yep.
Like if you watch movies and stuff like that, the family accountant was the guy that didn't just prepare your tax return. It was someone that also helped you with estate planning stuff, also helped you with your investments. He was the resource that you went to. You got a money question? This is the family accountant that we talk to, and they help us with all that stuff. I don't know where that went in the culture.
I have no idea.
But it just completely left. And like the same thing, you had a family doctor, you had a family lawyer. Your family lawyer normally wasn't the guy who was representing your nephew at the murder trial, right? He would refer that specialist, but you had that family attorney that you would ask your general legal advice questions. And then when you need something specific, he would call in a colleague to handle that. I think that's where the space where CFPs should be. I feel like the CFP should be that family financial advisor who can field all your general questions and then refer out for the specific stuff that you need. If we can get that brand out there, that would be huge.
That's beyond huge. That changes the whole game up. I know growing up, if we had something like that, my family would have been a lot different, right?
Yeah.
I know specifically, if you have someone to go to just ask a general question and get things done, we're good. And Google is not Google's not it. Google's good. There's a lot of things I've learned and got to within Google, but don't use Google for your own personal family stuff.
It's the same. You don't use Google. Well, people do. I should say you shouldn't use Google for your medical stuff, and you shouldn't use Google for your legal stuff. They call their family doctor. They call their family attorney. They should be calling their family CFP. We gotta find a way to make that brand really recognize that, the CFP is the access to all the other stuff. Because people are like, I got an investment question. So I was talking to a CPA. I was like, I have no idea what the hell they were going to tell you. Maybe they'll tell you the tax consequences of that investment. But outside of that, they have no actionable information for you there. If we, I mean, that's something really, I mean, obviously, you and me, we're on the same page, try to push it through Quad A, but also push it through CFP board. It's like, man, the next time y'all spend $12 million a year on the campaigns, we make the CFP is that family financial advisor, that resource that you go to when you have a money question. You go to a CFP.
Right.
They need to spend some of that money on that. Now, I'm not complaining on the money that they spend, because they are making the brand recognized.
They've definitely done and
Yeah,
improved it over
yeah,
specifically the last few years,
yeah.
of really rebranding and making sure that the CFP is known for what the CFP is and not just three letters that
Yeah.
nobody knows of. So
That nobody.
you're right.
Right.
You're right.
So
They're
they
doing.
doing a gig, but it's like, hell, next time they send me an email about suggestions, I gotta make sure I type that up, because that is where the space should be. You
Yeah.
go to your family financial advisor, which is that CFP.
Yep.
Yeah,
Amen.
I like that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got. I actually
Okay.
married, kids. We didn't get to that.
Oh yeah. Oh, so yes. So listen, man. I've been married since I was 22 years old.
Hey,
I
there you
met,
go.
all right. I met my wife in college. She was a year younger than me, and we've been married ever since. Got 3 kids. Oldest will be, oh my god, the oldest will be 13 in a couple of weeks, and the youngest will be 2 in a couple of months. And I
Yeah.
got a middle child that will be 10 in a couple of weeks also. So yeah.
There you go.
Full.
Yeah. My wife and I, we met in college. She was at a different college. We did the whole long distance thing.
Straight up.
We
How
just
did y'all meet?
celebrated.
Like Facebook or something? How did y'all meet
No, she
in
was from
different
the
colleges?
city. She's from Des Moines. I went to school in Des Moines. She went to South Dakota, but she came
Oh.
back to be with friends that went to my university. And she walked into the bar and I was bouncing. Really, that's how it went. We chopped it up.
What year did you graduate high school?
I graduated high school in 2007.
Okay. I'm a little. I graduated 02. So
02.
Facebook wasn't even like jumping until my senior year. Like my senior year in undergrad, Facebook was still only open to college students. You had to have a .edu
Yep.
email address to even get on Facebook. Then, if your college wasn't in like their database, you still wasn't getting there. You had to
Yep.
formally request that your college become a part of it.
It was the spring semester of my senior year of high school when we got the high school Facebook, and everyone went crazy with it. Yeah, I hear you. I remember that time.
Yeah, so it's like meeting people and dating people long distance. Like people, explain people, it's like it wasn't like that. You dated people you knew.
Yeah.
You dated people that was within a 15-mile radius. It
Yep.
wasn't like a whole lot of, unless you knew each other and then there was some sort of separation or something like that. It's like, it wasn't no, oh yeah, I know a chick in Louisiana.
Right?
It wasn't. Have you ever been in Louisiana? No, I met her on Black Planet. It wasn't going down like that.
You're right. We got 2 boys, 7 and 5, and I'm not having no more children. 2's good.
Right. Listen, I'm so good. My wife was like, you're gonna have to get snipped.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, it's time for this. And listen, I was in that doctor's office almost having a panic attack when he was showing me what was going on. But I was like, all right, listen, man, she didn't have 3. She did all this stuff.
I can do one.
I could do this one procedure because I've been for all 3. I've been there and seen the pain that she went through. She wasn't asleep. I'm gonna be asleep because the doctor was like, "Yeah, we can do local or we can put you to sleep. Take me out, doc."
I didn't have the option of sleep.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
No.
yeah. I had to go to a second. Okay, the first doctor was like, "No, we just do local," and that's the doctor where I had a panic attack and left. And then my friend, who I do my Wednesday night live streams with Orlando. Yeah, he's a real estate guy. And Orlando was like, no, my doctor, he'll put you to sleep. It's an extra like $500 or something, but he'll put you to sleep. I said, there it is.
Knock me out.
I'm doing that one.
Man, I should have went to more. That was the most uncomfortable thing I think I've ever been part of. I've had surgeries and everything. And,
right.
No.
I'll tell you, I was sitting there when he was like, all right, so here, let me show you on yourself. This is what we're gonna be cutting. I'm telling you, I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. But yeah. So yeah, I got the 3. I'm done. 3 officially done. I feel good. And it's so weird now with my parents because my son's not even here. My son hasn't been here for the last 2 or 3 days. My parents have kidnapped my son. And it's so funny to see them at that stage of life now where, like, I remember when my sister first had kids, they weren't at this stage. They was at the, we're not babysitting. No, that's your kid.
Right.
Bring him over for his birthday and then take him home. But now they're like, I'm like, oh, when can I get my son back? Oh, he good.
He good.
We got him. Because they ain't doing nothing. They don't have to go anywhere. You know, they're empty nesters. My father don't got to go into the business unless he wants to. So he's staying home for the past 3 or 4 days with my son, sending me pictures. So it's just so weird to see that difference, right? It's so different to see that, you know, how they are. And hopefully, you know, I could get to that point where I'm able to just be like, yeah, whole week with my grandson, doing nothing, just having fun because we did things the right way, you know, financially. So
The preceding program was sponsored by Black Mammoth. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Black Mammoth. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Black Mammoth website, www.blackmammoth.com. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions and securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice due to various factors including changing market conditions. The information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up-to-date, Black Mammoth do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature and is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results.